All right, YouTube's being dumb. I hit start a while ago. It's just not going. Hello, everybody. Just waiting for an audio check.
YouTube's being dumb. I hit start a while ago.
There you go. Yep. Everything is working fine. Hello, Jeffroy. Mr. Casual, Grievin, Knighthood. How you all doing? How you all doing? Kind of a weirdly timed stream, but I gotta wait long enough for Grace to wake up so we don't shout and break her out of slumber, but also the patch has been out, so we do want to cover that. Give people a few minutes to gather. How is everybody? Hope you're doing well on this brisk February morning. Unless you're in Australia, then apparently a sweltering February morning because everything's backwards down there because you guys are wrong. Oh, hey Baron. Hey Patrick. Knighthood, why you doing bad? Also, hi Mr. Teufel. All right, everybody. Greetings from South Korea. Hello, awesome sauce. No particular change, just fixes this game with lows, especially our Good Boy Week. Oh, I wish. Trailer was dope as fuck. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the background for everybody, why this might be considered a divisive patch, is because I have a lot of thoughts on it. A lot of thoughts on a very, very small patch. Hey, Blur. It's a very small patch. And so, patch 2.3 was 3 months ago. 3 months ago since we had a patch. And I'll get more into that later. So just know a lot of the multiplayer community has been very excited for the next patch. It's been 3 months of the same thing. All right. Greetings, Total Warhammer 3's first update of 2023 brings the usual bug fixes and visual improvements. Great. Most crucially of all, delivers a huge change. The Great Bastion into Immortal Empires has been breached. Cathay has been nerfed into the dirt. Cathay's walls no longer exist. You can't build walls in their settlements. If you build walls in their settlements, they will arrive with a hole in them. A hole you can't repair is what I'm getting out of that first sentence. So it's already big changes. Cathay can't have walls in campaign. Huge news. It's amazing. It's incredible. Nope. Just making dumbass jokes. Some intro stuff that I don't really care about. Immortal Empires launched in beta. Over the last 6 months, we pushed updates both big and small to continue to develop the campaign. As of today, the beta tag is gone. Nothing has changed. We just changed it from beta to not beta. Perfect. Glad that was a whole patch. Up until today, players had to own Total Warhammer 1, 2, and 3 to play Immortal Empires at all. Which was dumb. That was a stupid thing. That was really dumb. Because, spoilers, what they did was they unlocked Immortal Empire. So if you have Warhammer 3, you can play all of the game modes within Warhammer 3. That is objectively a good change. That is a great change. I will not deny that that is a great change at all. I don't know why they didn't do this from the start. The way they did it... Where is it? Okay, yeah, the way they did it is you can play Immortal Empires now, and you can only play as the factions from Game 3. Which, why wasn't that the thing from day one? Like, why isn't that a thing? I understand that now it's a thing, and I know Legend of Total War pushed really hard for that to be a thing, but why wasn't that the original plan? That's how everything else works, right? If you don't get the Vampire Coast DLC, you still get to play the Vortex campaign. You just can play the Vortex campaign as all the factions you own. And the Vampire Coast is in the game as a teaser to be like, hey, this faction looks really cool, right? This is a cool faction. You want to play this faction? Go buy the DLC. I don't know why they wouldn't let people who had Warhammer 3 not play this to see how cool the Warhammer 2 and 1 races were, right? Like someone who's like, I got Warhammer 3, whatever, I'll play the main campaign. Oh, you want me to play Mortal Empires and buy games 1 and 2? I'm not going to do that. Fuck games 1 and 2. I'm never going to play them. I already have Warhammer 3. I have the best of the 3 games. Why would I ever do that? Well, if you put them in the world and it's like, holy shit, is that a Tyrannosaurus Rex running at my demon? I want to play with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They might buy Warhammer 2. So why wasn't this the plan from the start? Whatever. It's a good change. It's a good change. You can finally play all the game modes you have in the game that you bought. There's literally no balance changes, isn't it? Sleeks, you might be onto something there. Hi, Giga Chad. Seems like devs love Skaven. They really do love Skaven. Yeah, I am a Skaven main, and I'm not gonna play the main card and pretend my faction has not been getting all the love in the world. But anyway, here's some of the highlights from update 2.4. Immortal Empires is out. Carrick 8 Peaks is a 10-slot settlement for Skaven. Alright, Malice's main quest works. Okay? Fixed graphical glitches. Okay. Garrison's no longer reinforced. Alright, that's a fine change, that's fine. Fixed the multiplayer desync. Coatl no longer immediately enter the battle in a quest battle. Interrogating Grom the Paunch works for Eltharion. And Boris Ursus wouldn't get supporters. That is honestly everything that's in the patch. There's this dope as shit trailer. It's legitimately actually awesome.
Storm clouds gather. Our borders are beset by evil, both mundane and immortal. How long can we withstand this onslaught? We must form an alliance. We either die alone or survive together.
I concur.
Shut up,
This
Teclis.
threat is beyond any of us. With the Azur's guidance,
This is just another Elgates game. I see many leaders here, but you even speak for your people?
High King, this is not the time for short-sightedness.
Short? There'll be no alliance with elves while I'm High King. Only a reckoning.
Baron Lloyd, that's actually a sick take. I love that take. I like how... Hold on. I like how the Tsarina just fucks off. Like, a lot of people in my Discord are giving Thorgrim shit for being a twat, and he is kind of being a twat, where he's over there just like, ugh. Yeah, well, wait, hold on. So Teclis and Karl Franz are like, we should all come together and fight the literal end of the world, you guys. And Thorgrim is just on the other side of the table. Rawr! I'm gonna cause problems for no reason. But I like how Tsarina's like, they're fighting, fuck it, and she just leaves. Doesn't even try to make peace, just leaves. Faye starts leaving.
Enough! We must not be blinded by our own need for power. This is the moment. Your choices
I just... Alright, there's two things here. Hold on. I have watched this trailer 4 times now. This is the 4th time. Oxyotl is a stealth-based lord. I legit didn't see him standing next to Orion till right now. He just snuck into the trailer. Alright, I love that. I love that. That's great. 2, I also love how they put 2 of the worst lords just standing right next to each other, and they're like, both of you. You guys can share a scene. Franz gets his own scene. Wolfric gets his own scene. Archeon gets his own scene. Oh, you two fucks? I don't know. Here's the forest. Is there even any lizardmen in this, or is it just wood elves and Oxyotl's here for no reason? Oh, okay. There's some
Your
lizardmen.
choices will decide the fate of this world. And all that inhabit it.
I didn't see Quick there
Make
either.
the right one.
So that shit was dope. Like, I think that's just objectively a great video. Now, some people are... No, sorry. Ooh, Chaos Dwarves. That's exciting. There's Chaos Dwarves coming. So, I mean, like, yeah, some people are pointing out we already had a trailer, and it's another trailer. Yeah, I'm not against more cool, epic trailers. I think that was a fantastic spotlight thing. It presented no new information, but I'm always up for hype, right? Anyway. So, Immortal Empires is accessible for everybody. This whole spiel just goes through, if you want to play the Warhammer 1 races, you're going to have to own Warhammer 1. You'll be granted ownership and a free DLC associated with each race that you have access to. Okay, that's fine. Gameplay. Garrisons will once again answer battle as opposed to being reinforcements. Okay, so now we get to the balance changes. This is why it's divisive, right? So here we go. For the multiplayer scene and campaign, let's get some balance out of the way. Beastmen, all right, maybe a C tier faction, depending on who you talk to. And campaign change, okay? Cool. Dark Elves, all right. We see them in every stream. We see them all the time. It's Malekith and a bunch of Scourge Runners, maybe Malus and Darkblade. They're dominating the multiplayer meta. What changes for them? Malus's quest for the Warp Sword King has been moved nearer to his starting position. And units, capes. It's mostly just capes and cloaks are not allowed to snap around when they're idle. Okay. Dwarves. Well, the Gotrek and Felix blob has been really annoying. Thoric is super overpowered. Did they buff Thoric? Dwarf Ancestor heroes now display the correct unit category icon. Okay. All right. Cathay. Super obnoxious playstyle. Nobody likes playing against them. Up. Dragonblood, Ashugan, and Lorg's porthole display no longer flickers. I'll stop with the bit now. You're getting the point. Greenskins. Super weak in multiplayer. Well, not super weak, but no changes. High Elves are strong in the meta right now. Could maybe use some nerfs to healing, otherwise they're doing okay, but don't worry, an animation issue causing the High Elf Spearman's legs to clip through their clothes, that's fixed, perfect. Kislev could use probably a little bit of love, fixed an animation where Sargard's capes would snap through the idle animations. Whoa! Oh, so scary. Norska needs Lord help, otherwise their roster's fine. Fix the skinning issue with the mouth joints of the Marauder Berserkers. Nurgle, whole roster needs buffs other than their lords and heroes. Heroes that were made to die after fulfilling their usefulness in campaign no longer have the mentor skill. On and on and on. Ogre Kingdom, Snowhorn of Morn no longer slide when turning around. Skaven got some campaign changes. Skirt and tail changes. Slaanesh dominating the meta in domination mode, and they've been pretty strong in land battles. No nerfs. Empire, Tzeentch, Coast, Warriors of Chaos. Like, there's literally zero. There are zero multiplayer buffs, nerfs, any changes whatsoever. It's just capes and why am I blanking on it? Campaign fixes. And then there's this multiplayer section that just says fixed a desync error when multiplayer campaigns if you chose to summon the electric counts. That's it. I would like to rage, yeah. So here's the thing. So you've seen the whole patch, and it's disappointing. Now, to the people out there, why I say divisive is because it's divisive for me too. Here's the problem. And he mentioned the hot seat mode? No. The good. And there is good. The good. Changing Immortal Empires so that you can access it even if you just have Game 3, and you can only play with the Game 3 factions. It's stupid that we have to compliment that change, but that was a good change. Don't know why it wasn't the original way to do it, but whatever. Sick-ass trailer. Cool, sick-ass trailer. Those are all the good things I have to say. Now, why those are good and why I even feel divisive about it is something Cuden pointed out to me, but also is just true. Both of these, with the trailer and with the Immortal Empires fixes, it opens the game up to more players, more casual players. More casual players might give multiplayer a chance, might grow the multiplayer scene. Cool. More bodies in the multiplayer scene is always good, right? Right. And the biggest issue we have right now in multiplayer is honestly not the meta. honestly not balancing, it's population. Population is the biggest problem. Right now, the meta's honestly okay. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but when has the meta ever been perfect? When has the meta of any video game ever been perfect? Fucking League of Legends has an esports scene that's gigantic, and right now the bottom lane meta is 480 carries versus each other because it's so fucked up at balancing. Like, yep, video games sometimes fuck up balancing. Okay? Okay. So that's the good pitch. Now the bad part, and when I say this, if you are enjoying the campaign, totally feel free to enjoy the campaign. That is completely fine. It's a great campaign. It's a great game, right? All of my bitching is from being a multiplayer-focused YouTube channel, and I acknowledge that, right? So there's some bias. There's some huge bias here that I clearly have. Acknowledging all of that, Seb Holloway, you can get Immortal Empires for all your mates. Yeah, I know Mr. Casual was also talking about that. Like, that is a great change, right? But as a multiplayer fanatic, and as an entire YouTube channel around multiplayer, I'm going to lean into my bias now, and you have all been warned. Those were the good things. The bad things is, think about when Immortal Empires first came out. Multiplayer focused, right? Campaign has gotten infinitely better. What time is it there? 7 in the morning. I've been up since 4, because I had to go play a BBB Best of 5 with somebody in Spain. Anyway, multiplayer focus. Since the game released, August, what have been the overpowered broken factions? Vampire Counts, Slanesh, Tomb Kings, Warriors of Chaos. Huh, okay. Patch like 1.2 or whatever. Well, no, Immortal Empires is 2.0. So 2.1, what are the strong factions? Vampire Counts, Tomb Kings, Warriors of Chaos, Slanesh. Okay, 2.2, who are the strong factions? In Domination, those same 4. In land battles, I think 2.2 and 2.3 are where the Dark Elves and High Elves started to make their way into the meta because of all the changes to them. Okay, 2.3, November, and then they take a month-long break into Christmas, and then all of January rolls around, and all of February. Now, the problems have been stated to them since, honestly, Immortal Empire's release. Why are vampire counts strong in both Domination and land battles? Healing. There's way too much fucking healing for them overall. And then High Elves. How are they strong in the meta right now? Imric on a dragon, mostly. Like, they have effective Lothern Seaguard, they have effective Spearmen, but no one's bitching about effective Spearmen and effective Lothern Seaguard. They're bitching about a 3,000 gold Dragon Lord diving straight on top of them, and if it ever gets into any danger whatsoever, you just throw an Overcaster Regrowth on it, and you instantly correct any mistakes. So it doesn't feel like there's any mistakes the enemy player can do, right? Dark Elves. How are they too strong? Malekith, the giant dragon lord, can dive into the middle of your army, suffering no punishment, because if you blob up on him, he's going to soul steal you, damage your entire army, heal himself up, and suffer no consequences for his actions. Very cool. Malice. How is Malice Darkblade strong? He can dive into your whole army, suffer no consequences, because if you blob up on him, he has blob punishment tools, and he has constant healing. Okay, cool. So I'm sensing that healing is a problem, and healing's been a fucking problem since Immortal Empires came out. Months go by, very little healing nerfs. The undead get like almost no crumbling changes. Greenskins have been out of the meta for fucking ever. They get no buffs or nerfs over the course of all this time. And it's like, okay, a 3-month break shows up. You have to imagine that they're working on some stuff. You have to imagine that people have been bitching about Hellstriders of Slanesh forever. Every stream Turin does, and Turin's the biggest multiplayer streamer of Warhammer. Every stream he does, he has to talk about how much Slanesh is fucking broken. When he's playing Age of Empires, he'll talk about how much Slanesh is fucking broken. Yes, I'm talking about Domination for that, right? Anyway, even when he's playing Age of Empires, he'll talk about how Slanesh is fucking broken. Even when he's casting a Nurgle versus Norska game, he'll mention at least it's not fucking broken Slanesh for Domination mode, right? He's been doing that for so long, it's a meme. There's a 3-month break, and you think that they would be able to go into the code and go, Hellstriders, even the CA meme of Hellstriders plus 50 gold. Like, you're like, okay, it's the CA meme. That's probably what we're going to get. For someone who's been waiting for 3 months for the patch, and they missed deadlines, because in January they said they would give us an update or a roadmap or whatever for what 2023 was going to look like. And then they missed that. And then early February, they come out with this like office shot of this guy who says, we're working really hard. And you're like, great, okay, he's working really hard. That's okay. But you're still impatiently waiting for a patch. For all of that, to get a patch that has literally 0 balance changes, fucking sucks. It sucks. Because they didn't fix that cheat mod that one asshole released, but also the exploit's been there for a while. Like, they didn't fix that. I talked to them about that, and they said, we'll fix it soon, but Immortal Empires took precedent. Okay, fine. They didn't give Azhag's items back. That's been a problem forever. They didn't do any buffs, any nerfs, so the meta's going to stay the same. And the meta's going to be the same, essentially, since August. So you have, like, 6 months of a meta that's super stagnant. And it just sucks. It just sucks. Tzeentch is not OP, I'll fight you. Tzeentch isn't that OP. Well, maybe if you're talking about Dom, I don't know. I only know what I talk to my friends about. But what rage dem is, again, I don't know. I'm kind of middle of the raging. So it's stupid. And also, it's not even just multiplayer fixes that are bothering me. It's like, there's big campaign problems too from the lack of balance. Like, I've talked about it, but I don't know who Undead Crumbling is for. I legitimately don't know. I don't know what campaign player is like, dude, I fucking love when a unit of zombies takes 45 minutes to just disintegrate. I love that. So even from a campaign perspective, it doesn't make sense. Or from the campaign perspective of killing an entire Vampire Count's army on the field, like legitimately killing every single bottle, and then you go back to the campaign map, and the Lord just walks away, and every single unit in his army is half HP, and I'm like, I have to kill them again! I have to kill them again! They die so fucking slowly! And it's like, don't worry, in the second battle, they're all gonna have way better leadership because they started out at half health. So percentage-wise, when you get them down to 1/4 HP, they think they've only taken half of their HP. And it's like, it's harder to kill them the second time? Yes. And then apparently CA looks at that and says, yeah, Crumbling's good to go, you guys. And it's like, that one, why I'm so irate about it is, that's just a numbers change. You just go in there, you go to the Crumbling effect that applies to every undead unit, you take the number, you make it higher. That's it. It should take you like 5 minutes. And those are the kind of changes that people are mad about. Where it's like, healing's too strong, regrowth's too strong, go into regrowth, go into that spell. Instead of 0.8, 0.4. Like, again, if you dive into the math on that, you might be like, Human Boy, 0.4 is way too low. But you get the point. The point is the actual changes that people are asking for take 5 seconds. Now, the harder shit, the real hard shit is like, chariots don't work correctly. Model collisions don't work correctly. You know, war wagons and Scourge Runner chariots, because of those problems I just mentioned, are nearly invincible when they're in melee if they just walk away, right? Those are hard changes. I'm not going to sit here talking about something I have no fucking idea how to do. Like, why don't you just fix the models? Why don't you just make a perfect game? That's a stupid thing to ask for, right? Like, okay, it's not a stupid thing to ask for in general, but I'm like, you didn't fix that in 3 months? What's wrong with you? I don't know how hard that shit is. What I do know is how easy it is to change the numbers behind how a spell works. And that's what's so annoying about this, is like, healing across the board has been way too strong since Immortal Empires released. And they have there's been not a single healing nerf in all this time, with all this feedback, with everything you could possibly give them, all the work you do. They've asked us before what the problems with multiplayer are. We told them, and in patch 2.3 I ranted that they did nothing, and patch 2.4 they did less than nothing. And it's like, these changes aren't that hard. Giving Hellstriders 50 more gold isn't that hard. Giving, like, Marauders of Slaanesh 50 more gold isn't that hard. Are those the correct changes? No, but it's like, in 3 months, they couldn't find an hour to throw a couple numbers our way to be like, sorry, here you go. That's where a lot of the frustration is, and that's where, if you hear about multiplayer community people talking, if you see them on Reddit threads, if you see them on Discords, and getting all pissed off and getting all mad, and you're like, dude, how can you not see the forest through the trees? Immortal Empires is open to a wider player base. That's great. That is great. But remember that, 1, it should have been that way from the start, and 2, the changes that most people are asking for are not difficult to try. So, there's that. I'm getting caught up on chat for a second. What up, Mike the guy? They're working on that trailer. I'm convinced they're like a 4-man team at this point. That is another thing. Like, I love the trailer and I think it's hype as fuck, but you have to wonder, like, I mean, was it worth making that trailer, or was it worth, like, fixing the multiplayer scene? But, yeah. So, Oh, and here's another thing I was actually mad about. There are giant mods made by the community adding like 100 hours of content made in the last 3 months. Yeah. My lawyer and I talked jokingly about suing them. Fix chariots, the break cavalry. Maybe. Okay. So, here's another thing. And this one doesn't affect me as much because I'm not a Dom streamer. But, like, if you are a domination-focused player entirely... Why am I being pinged? I was pinged. The hell? Anyway, sorry. I got pinged on the CA server, so I was worried I was in trouble, but I'm not. So, if you're a domination-focused person, you've probably got to be pissed that there's still no maps. Like, Turin had to... Well, Turin didn't make the map pack, right? But, like, Turin's community made most of the domination maps they use now. Because what are there, like, 8, 9 maps in the total game for domination? And, like, 4 of them are competitively viable? Because Silver Spire... If I got the name right, that one sucks for multiplayer, if I remember correctly. Because both of you spawn at choke points, so you get stuck in there really easy. So, like, even for domination, they didn't even put another map in. Which, like, the biggest thing domination needs is fucking maps. So no new maps for domination. No multiplayer patch bug fixes, buffs, debuffs, anything like that. This multiplayer scene is going to be the same. So people are overall... kind of mad. And again, Immortal Empires going to everybody that has Game 3 is cool, but it should have been that way from the start, so it's kind of like... I don't know. It's kind of like congratulating your kid for not pissing on the couch. It's like... Is that where we're at now? Like, you stopped fucking up? Hey, congratulations on not fucking up anymore. I mean... Okay... Yeah, but is that the most we can expect? Is that really where we want to set the bar? Or do we want to, like, expect a little more? Just a little bit. I don't know. You talking about the reinforcement? Oh, that's a good one, Zahir. Yeah, the reinforcement bar still blocks your army. You still can't move that. You can't drag and drop it for some reason. The modders made like 40 maps. Turns out uses 3 of those regular too. Oh yeah, Grieven. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, domination mode was pitched as the new Total War experience, and a year after release, it still has no AI support. So you can't even practice armies against AI. Modders had to do that. It has very, very few maps, whereas the land battles section has like hundreds of maps, and about 50 of them are usable. There's no domination component of the campaign at all, so you can't practice it in campaign while you're playing your campaign and then transition to multiplayer easily. Like, a year into it, and this game mode still has not been flushed out. They've done very well. On the Total War forums, it's all hail the epic trailer and open IE. Yeah. Worth the trailer. Chat DLC. Oh yeah, there's still no DLC. They did say in 2022 that chat would come in 2023, and we did just start 2023, but it's like, again, it's a feature they took away that used to be in there, and they took it out of 2 randomly too, so gotta imagine it's not that hard to put it back in. That's why people are frustrated, right? So there's like, yes, a hype trailer will bring more people into the game, hopefully. Yes, making Immortal Empires, which was already in the game, accessible to people who own the game. Yes, that'll maybe bring in new players, allow you to bring in more of your friends, do all that stuff, yada yada. Are those good changes? Yes, they should have already been in the game. And then for the people that are already here, the dedicated fans, you kind of get shafted. Where it's like, if you're already here, if you already own all 3 games, this patch has literally nothing for you. How fucking stupid it is. I love how we are hyping up how fucking stupid it is. Yeah. Okay, so Ayaz, you're asking why are people pissed at this patch? Because if you already supported the game, you got nothing. You waited 3 months for nothing. This patch only helps people who didn't play a bunch already, who didn't own the games already, who maybe didn't even buy Warhammer 3 yet. Can you do a petition, please? A petition for what? Also, I don't know if it'll amount to anything. But for what? So that's why people are pissed off. Is because if you're with the game and you've been sitting on the game and you're hoping for better stuff, you got nothing. Yeah. So that sucks. And that the changes the multiplayer community are asking for, like 75% of the changes are really easy to implement and 25% are difficult. More maps for domination mode, shit's hard. I get that. Like, modders can do it? Yeah, but it takes work. Like, I'm not going to pretend that it's easy. Fixing the chariot models? Hard. Takes work. Yep. But basic numbers changes on the cost of certain units. Basic numbers changes on melee attack and melee defense for certain units. Basic numbers changes for melee attack and melee defense of harmony mechanic for Cathay. Oh god, it's early. Anyway, basic number changes on healing. All that stuff is actually a pretty simple fix. And it's just annoying. Anything happened this patch, Son of Kieran? Literally nothing. At least Chaos Force will be announced late March. Yeah. And, oh, that's another thing. At the very end is the kind of depressing... Looking forward... Exciting times are ahead for Warhammer 3 as Update 3.0 is next on the horizon. Shapes up to be the game's most engaging and in-depth content drop ever. Okay, so that pretty much puts an axe in the head of 2.5. There is no 2.5. This is the last patch we get until 3.0. That sucks. Like, because 3.0, all we know about 3.0, the only thing we know is this in Q2 of 2023. Now everybody's saying April, and I've been saying April as well, but that is hopeful. Technically, the only thing we were promised is Q2, so that could be as late as June. So if you think about it that way, there could be a real world scenario where there is no multiplayer patch at all from November to June, and there is no update in the multiplayer meta from August to June. Because the meta, that's part of the reason people are so frustrated, is the previous patches have also been pretty limp dick as far as the multiplayer meta goes. I pointed out at the start, but the start of Immortal Empires, Counts, Slaanesh, Tomb Kings, Coast, Warriors of Chaos were too strong. What's the meta right now? Those fucking 5, plus High Elves and Dark Elves. That's why people are so mad, is it's like, this has been the same shit forever. Anyway, I was waiting only to have a free LC character for some faction, but no, nothing, not even a wallpaper gift. Yeah, and then Amenephis was talking about it on my Discord, but they also still are really behind on Regiments of Renown. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Mono God factions in Game 3, like Nurgle, Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and them, they have 3 RORs, right? 3 Regiments of Renown. I think that's true. Because Khorne has the Blood Crushers and Skull Crushers ROR, then he has the Hellforged Host. And that's it. Yeah, so each has 3. Which, like, we're a year into the game and they have 3 Regiment of Renown units. If you look at, like, Skaven have, like, 12. Or something. I don't know. It's fucked up. We've been waiting for dedicated servers since Empire. Yeah. Here's an easy way to put it. Loopy, just some random person is able to update his balance mod every month with substantial stuff, and CA's just too dumb to manage it. Fix chariot by making charge point 20 meters behind anything you target. There's a multiplayer feature in Warhammer 3. Yep. Satisfy the Grudge. I don't know if you're here for the whole stream, but I was talking like this. I feel like I've been pretty fair this stream, where I mentioned all the good stuff about single player that they changed. It's just completely fucked over on multiplayer. And I even stopped and just said, all right, so this is where I'm going to put my multiplayer hat on and bitch for a little bit. But like, yeah. They said DLC in April. Hopefully, that's true. Monster to cab infantry. What's the corn ROR monster? Oh, it's the Exalted Bloodthirster. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You still can't take Demons of Chaos in ranked matches? I didn't realize that. That is so stupid. Did Beastmen have 3 or 4 RORs? They have more now, yeah. They have more. So that's the basis of the frustration, is just how long things have been stagnant, how long things have been the same, how long things have been early access, it feels like. And that's overall what happens. Like, if this game was billed to you as early access, it wouldn't be as much of a problem, but it was billed as a finished game, then it wasn't finished, and now they've spent the last year finishing it. And now, if the game was releasing today, this would all be good news. Like, if it was like, guys, we're out of early access entirely. The whole game has been in early access. We're out of early access. We're launching today. This shit's hype. This shit would be hype. It would. You know, it's a great game. It is a great game. Have a ton of fun playing it. The multiplayer meta is honestly good. It's the second best multiplayer meta I've ever seen, in my opinion. Outside of the very end of Warhammer 2, this is the second best meta we've been in. Because, like, I bitch about Scourger and Chariots, Malekith, Imric with healing, Vampire Counts, Vampire Coast, like all those things. I can bitch about them all day. They're strong, but like we saw Wood Elves win Turin's Faction War. We saw Ogres win our single faction tournament recently. Like, you can win with other stuff. It's just, it's definitely harder to. And you always want to see the meta shifting up. You always want to see different things get put into the game. And you get tired of grinding out the same 6 or 7 factions over and over again. You get tired of streaming the same 6 or 7 factions over and over again. You get tired of analyzing the same 6 or 7 factions over and again. You get tired of casting replays of the same 6 or 7 factions all over again. And that's why you saw, like, Anticity left Warhammer 3, Logic left Warhammer, the Rubber Duck of War left Warhammer, My Son HW left Warhammer, Merfolk left Warhammer, Contende left Warhammer, Turin has, like, mostly left. And, like, by that I mean, if I look at his streams, a majority of his streams are Age of Empires, not Warhammer, right? I'm not saying he's like, he made a video, I'm quitting Warhammer, but like, he hasn't been doing as much content recently for Warhammer. It's like, all those things are because of this. It's like, yeah, the single player is cool, great, but there's not a ton of content around single player. Like, Legend of Total War mostly does a lot of that stuff. I don't know, but the multiplayer scene, it's just most of the streamers have left because it's been the same thing and they get tired of talking about it. So they'll come back when there's something to talk about. And then a patch like this comes up and there's nothing to talk about. So they'll continue to fuck off and we'll continue to be in a dearth. Is dearth the right word? Whatever. A dry spout of content. And like, content brings people into the multiplayer scene when they realize there is a multiplayer scene. More players makes more content makes more people coming to the multiplayer scene, right? So, it's been shitty. So that's like why hardcore super fans get upset. Like, if you are a casual player, this is a great patch for you. This is a great patch. They didn't break anything. They made more stuff accessible to you if you don't have all 3 games. You can go play Immortal Empires. Like, it's a great patch. But I'm a hardcore player with a hardcore player type channel, so of course I'm going to be upset. Like, that's just how it is. And that's why I called it a divisive patch, where it's like, there are good things depending on who you are, and there are bad things depending on who you are. And it's all that. So, as a hardcore player, I'm upset. But it's not all bad. Bye, Coops. How many of us are burnt out on Warhammer multiplayer? Legends stopped live streaming to short form Total War videos now. Oh. Why Turin left? Like, because there's not a lot to cover. There's just not a lot of stuff. And he's like he still makes Warhammer content. I've just noticed like way more Age of Empires content. He's even doing some like Companies of Heroes or whatever the hell that new game is. Like, he's diversifying a lot more because there's not a ton to cast. If you look back at, like, Immortal Empire's launch, Turin was doing a shit ton of stuff for that. Warhammer 3 launch, he was doing a shit ton of stuff for that. So, like, Turin does more content when there's more content to do. But with, like, limp dick patches like this, you're not going to bring any casters back. He stopped as it was wrecking his life and he had beef with CA. They've broken the knighthood in you? Oh. I'm sorry, knighthood. Knight's vow is never broken, just dented, bruised, battered. Yeah. Rework some characters in game 2. Hi. Oh, you forgot your laptop? Okay, goodbye. Have fun. Wasn't the player base dropping some streams and cast Total Warhammer wasn't doing as well? Most streamers decided to spy. Yeah, Seb, like, it all kind of links in together, right? What I'm trying to say is if you have a healthy, thriving multiplayer community, then you'll have healthy, thriving multiplayer content. And if the player base starts dropping, that means the audience starts dropping. If the audience starts dropping, there's less room for streamers, and then a bunch of them move on. You're feeling underwhelmed? Most people are. So that's the tough part. And like speaking from myself, and this will kind of be the wrap up for the stream because there wasn't a whole lot to it. Speaking for myself, back in August, when Immortal Empires dropped, because I've been doing YouTube for almost 2 years, we're at like under 5K subs. That's pretty slow growth overall. It's not great. And I was thinking about doing this full time because I put these days about 40 to 50 hours a week into YouTube stuff. I used to put about 80 hours a week into YouTube stuff. I have a real job. I have a fiance. We're hoping to buy a house soonish. We're moving soonish, and I need to figure out what I'm doing. So about in August, I had said, okay, I'll put about 80 hours a week into YouTube, see how that goes, see if I can get the growth up, see if I can make it a lifestyle thing, and do that as a job. And then I could be a stay-at-home dad for when we have kids and stuff, save some money there. It's good stuff. Like, the super slow rate of Warhammer 3 release, the absolute cratering of the player base from the launch, if like, hold on, what is the Steam charts Warhammer 3? All time. That's not even all time. It won't show me the very start. But anyway. Warhammer 3, 166,000 players. And the player base been dwindled to 30,000, right? And this is when Immortal Empires launched. Immortal Empires was at 120,000, and then it trailed off. So it's that problem, is just trying to make a YouTube career or whatever on this type of game when, like, the company behind it hasn't given up on it, but it feels like to a lot of people they have, and that's why a lot of people are quitting the game or leaving the game and all that stuff. And it's just like, it sucks. So my days are limited, you know. I don't see this being a future career, so I'll do this for as long as I can, for as long as like my lifestyle can do that. But it's like, at the rate things are going, I don't think it'll ever be a full-time job, and at some point I'm gonna have to give it up and go do kids and stuff, and that's depressing, you know. Like, it's tough. It's tough and it sucks. So that's where a lot of the hardcore multiplayer community is coming from. That's where a lot of streamers are coming from for being upset and being frustrated, because it's like, you know, it's their livelihood. To some people, it's just a game. It's just a game you have for fun. And like, for you, that's totally fair. I hope you're having fun with it. I hope you're having a great time. But when content creators leave, or when content creators get upset, or like super hardcore fans get upset, remember that sometimes it is a livelihood to certain people. Thanks, Papa Nero. Yeah, I'm just trying to explain my frustrations, because there was a couple people in the chat that were like, I mean, just enjoy the game. And it's like, yeah, but of course I'm going to be frustrated because it's my livelihood. I'll, for sure, if I stop being a content creator, I'll fucking play Warhammer in my own time, right? I'll throw like 10 hours a week into a campaign, Maybe talk to some friends about it. I'll definitely keep up in the Discords, maybe play some tournaments from time to time. But I do have more skin in the game where I'm like, man, this could be great. This could be amazing. It's pretty good. Especially if you're watching multiplayer, man. Some of the lower tier factions, if you have two people who just agree to play like Beastmen versus Greenskins or some shit like that, you can get some dope ass games. The top of the meta is just really boring to a lot of people who watch a ton because you see the same stuff. And Bjorn has been the champion for this, where he's like, the meta isn't bad. Like, Dark Elves are interesting and fun. It's like, they're interesting and fun the first 100 games. And then the next 100 games, it gets old. Like, anything gets old. And, yeah. So you can still get some hype stuff if you have people who play certain ways or specialists. Like, Cool Umbrella's always fun to watch because he just plays Nurgle and Greenskins, even though they're not the top of the meta. Cal Harmon's fun to watch because he plays Nurgle, Lizardmen, Wood Elves, even though they're not the top of the meta. Like, we had the ODM tournament finals stream. That was a banger stream. We got a Dwarf Mirror in finals just because both the players wanted to play Dwarves. Like, I don't know. You can still have fun, but in a lot of sweaty tryhard tournaments, like Turin's tournaments are usually so big that it gets pretty sweaty, or the Ever-Chosen event, or the Warhammer World Cup. Whenever there's a ton of money and a ton of prestige on the line, you get some pretty boring-ass games because the meta right now is pretty boring. Are 1v1 duel videos doing well? It's hard to tell. I release a battle replay every other day and a meme/bug every other day, and my content's been doing fine recently. But fine, it's not doing incredibly well, but it's fine. I also think I'm currently benefiting from being one of the very few streamers left in the multiplayer space, and I wonder if more people come back, if that growth would be as consistent. 3.0 patch will be anywhere from April to June, though several people have said April. They saw April somewhere. I didn't see that, but that's fine. Don't forget the doggo. She's a cute doggo. She is very cute. How can it be divisive, Nagetsku? We talked about it a large amount, but hardcore players are mad because nothing changed. Newer players are happy because it's easier for them to get in the game. They move out of beta if they didn't patch anything further. So we had the game in beta for 3 months for nothing. Pretty much. The only thing they changed about it from being a beta is just allowing you to play Immortal Empires without having all 3 games. Maybe it's time to consider using mods. If I saw, like, increased viewership for mods, probably. Thanks, Papa Nurgle. That's very nice of you. I feel like click whenever there's a decent thumbnail, an interesting matchup or names to recognize, yeah. All right. So that's the end of the stream. If you just popped in, feel free to go back. But if you want a quick TLDR on why I called it divisive, here's the short version. The good is opening up Mortal Empires for more players is a good thing. Even if it should have already been in the game, it's still a good thing to do it. More players means maybe more people trying out multiplayer, maybe growing the scene a bit. Good. Cool. The bad is, as a hardcore player, there was not a lot of changes. Not a lot of my streams are going to change. I'm still going to have to figure out ways to make them interesting for the next 2.5 to 3 months because you're still going to see more Dark Elves. You're going to see more High Elves. You're going to see more Vampire Counts. You're going to see more Vampire Coasts. You're going to see more Tomb Kings. You're going to see more Slanesh. Like, you're going to see more of the same things. Hence the frustration. But there's the TLDR.